Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Kindness Games.
Whoa, Tim. This is not how we start the real kindness games.
The kindness games, right? It's like
No, you already called me out that we can't use our real kindness games for kindness games. So back at you, buddy.
that's true.
Hang tight, hang tight, hang tight. Hey, welcome to the real kindness games. Pew, 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 pew.
That was better actually. I liked it.
So I'm Kate Sean, and this is my trusty sidekick.
Tim.
So, welcome back to another edition of the Real Kindness Games. Our series started from the Kindness Games, which is really about sharing gratitude and acknowledging those who have had an impact in our lives. But the Real Kindness Games is going a step further. We as humans are made up of flesh and bones and countless internal biases. The Real Kindness Games is about practicing what we preach and break down barriers of bias to create a more united world. It's about making dinners great again.
Making dinners great again. Because if you have only boring conversations with people that feel the same way about everything, then might as well just stay on this COVID adventure and socially distance forever.
You're here.
But in all honesty, we're having conversations about having conversations with people we don't agree with. I just found out that Kekishan has a MacBook. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, this is over.
Ugh. We can't be friends anymore, Tim. That's it.
Crazy. No, actually, I do want to start off with a little bit of gratitude because, gratitude feeds kindness. So, Kekishan, I am so thankful for the friendship we've had over these last three and a half years. And knowing and interacting with you has really helped me become very tolerant. So I appreciate that.
What? Explain, please.
Well, I mean, all of your interesting ideas and your background, and I've been learning about your experience, and it's just really helped me tolerate not only you but others as well.
I don't think you're using that word in the right way, Tim.
I mean, it's just the way that you challenge me, you challenge my ideas, you make me better. And it's been so good learning to tolerate you over the last 3 years. I've been loving it.
Tim, if you don't like me, then we don't have to be friends. Friendship over.
But aren't we supposed to tolerate each other? Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Tim, it's not about tolerance. It's about acceptance. It's about going that step further and actually having a conversation with people that you care about. You may have different opinions, but you're not just tolerating them like administrative work, right? Administrative work. I tolerate that. But I accept you. I accept you even though you have a PC.
Wow. Yeah, that MacBook thing is going to be an issue for time to come. But it makes us question, though, why do we hold tolerance on this pedestal? It's actually, I think we'll talk about it. It's a good tool for certain circumstances. But I think it's become part of our vernacular as an aspiration. But I think tolerating people, I mean, we just use it in a sentence and it doesn't actually make sense. It's not a friendly thing to bring people together and build communities. So how do we do this, Kekishan? You're the smart one here.
Haha. Well, tolerance is like you said, it's a tool, right? It's another tool in our toolkit to be more inclusive in our community, in our society. It shouldn't be that, oh, I just tolerate everyone. Tolerance is just the first step that you take towards acceptance and towards building a more unified and inclusive community where you take a step back to say, okay, something has happened that I didn't necessarily agree with. You can use tolerance in the moment, but then you have to go a step further and say, okay, let me understand where you're coming from and come to an acceptance or an agreement. What do you think, Tim?
Right, because tolerance to me, it kind of says that at minimum, at the best, you mildly annoy me, which is not the case. You're amazing. But if you take that from the very mild case to what people often are, you really make me angry and I'm so virtuous if I can tolerate people of other opinions. And we kind of threw this out in like one of our earlier videos, that if you actually believe in diversity and inclusion, you must be open to and accepting of other people's views, but you don't need to agree with them and they don't need to agree with you. But how do we engage different minded people?
I mean, honestly, it's really important to seek out different opinions, right? It's not really just about, oh, well, here's my opinion and here's the people that I agree with. And then, oh, those are the other people. I mean, I guess I'll tolerate them. But really, it's about having conversations built on curiosity, right? You go into conversation with an open mind and you say, sure, this is not the opinion that I hold, but I am willing to have this conversation to understand that you as a fellow human have a specific mindset or an opinion. And that is completely okay because we both respect each other's opinions and we both respect each other's ideals. Tim, you have a PC, I have a Mac. Every day of the week, I'm be like, ugh, I don't want a PC, but I still respect you as a person because that is your choice to have the type of computer that you want or the type of life that you want to live, even if it is the Android side or the PC side. Ugh.
Disgusting. No, absolutely. And you know what else? Tolerance doesn't actually lead to inclusion. Because it does bring that wall up. So like we've had 3.5 years of actually a really cool friendship to where we really have learned from each other and exchanged ideas. But if we were just tolerating each other, we would not continue to meet up. We would not continue to dive deeper into this friendship that we have because it wouldn't be comfortable. And so I think we have to say tolerance, not the ideal, curiosity to understand another human being is the ideal, because when we're curious, so even though like I have opinions that you don't share,
Yep.
when we talk about them from, hey, Tim, how did you arrive here? Because I don't see it. You get to learn about my experience, my path, and you get to learn about some of the things that I've been exposed to, I've lived through, some of the lessons I've learned, some of the things that I've seen that I don't want to make a part of me. And it helps you understand why somebody would choose this worldview or a point of view or even political opinion. And I think that is really what we can say. Curiosity does lead to diversity and inclusion.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that people should really note is you don't have to change your mind. Like no one is asking you. I don't know if you've seen that meme of the guy sitting with a coffee mug. He's like, whatever statement, change my mind. No one's asking you to change your mind. It's just changing your attitude. It's changing your mindset from saying, well, I can't agree with this person, so I can't accept them. It's changing that mindset to, I don't agree with this person and let me understand why we have a difference of opinions and just accept it and move on, right? Move on as a community together.
And actually, if you just think about what you said, if you need people to change their opinions to be a better person, you're literally saying you're not okay and you need to change to be okay. And that's a pretty bold statement for any one person to be able to put on somebody else.
Yep. And you know, the one thing that I've learned throughout my life is that relationships are built on trust and commitment, right? Like it's built on the trust that you are not going to judge me for my opinions and that you are making a commitment to be friendly to me and to respect me no matter what it is that I think, again, as long as we're not harming other people. So, you know, we have to make the decision to accept other people for who they are and the different walks of life that they come from, because they can't accept us for who they are if we don't take that step ourselves.
You know, and we've been talking about that if you are having conversations and people bring up an opinion or challenge an assumption that you had, and like you start to get like hyped up and feel a little bit emotional, like you really do need to ask yourself, like, why did that reaction happen? What am I uncomfortable with? What foundational part of me has been challenged? And that's not saying that there's anything wrong with you. Actually, that's an amazing time. That's your body and your mind telling you, I'm not comfortable because there's something that I think is a truth that is being challenged. And so now you have the decision. One, tolerance. This is where tolerance comes in. tolerate the conversation, find a kind way to kind of break contact and get yourself out of that stressful situation. Go reconcile yourself, do some research and find out like, why did that happen? And then re-engage that person when you're in a better place to say, the last time we had this conversation and you said, and like, I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, I don't get it, but I'd love to learn more about it, because I think that I'll learn more about you. And I want to also learn more about the way I feel about things. And
Yeah.
if you engage with that type of curiosity, it adds value to somebody else because you're seeking out their thoughts and their opinion and their story. And you're both going to learn something. And chances are they're probably not going to turn out to be a MacBook owner. They're going to be a pretty decent person.
Thanks, Tim. I I honestly think, like, when you have that very ephemeral feeling when you're in a conversation, and you, like, the same way that you start to get those feelings in your fingertips or your toes, it's your gut feeling telling you, right? Like, there's been research that's come out from all across different avenues where you have to follow your gut feeling. There's going to be times where you don't agree with someone's opinion, and that is okay. It may not be based in fact, it may not be based in logic, but you as a human being have the right to your free will and to your opinion.
Yeah.
What we want to make sure that you understand is that, whatever conversations that you have with respect, with acceptance. You have tolerance as a step. Like, I'm going to tolerate this conversation because I'm having such a reaction to this conversation. But then you take it a step further, and then you understand, you bring awareness to the conversation, and you have acceptance for the person and their opinion, so that you two can have like a very respectful conversation, again, built on respect, curiosity, an open mindset, and a growth mindset, so that you both can learn from it and move forward as together.
I think one of the last points we really need to cover is we need to create space, right? We're pretty like A and B. You're either on the left side or the right side. You're either here or there if you think this. But humans are more complex than that, right? So in this age of information, we feel like we need to understand everything. But you could give me a logical, hey, Tim, here are the facts that kind of oppose your opinion. But sometimes maybe it's some sort of belief system. Maybe it's just something, a feeling within you. And you're like, you know what? Like, I see your facts, but I cannot make myself choose that way. That's okay. If you feel like to be honest with yourself, the way that you are, the way that you want the world to be, it's okay not to have a quote unquote logical opinion, but you can still understand, how did you get there, right? Why is it so important to you? And that becomes part of your story. And so let's not just say that, well, if you don't follow facts, then whatever, or I believe this, and there's all sorts of things to show you that your position does this. If you don't believe it does that, that's fine. Understand yourself and be able to explain why you feel the way. But we are not one-dimensional people. We have a physical, we have a mental, we have a spiritual aspect to all of us that influences how we see and view the world. Do you agree with that, or am I just crazy?
No, I completely agree with that, Tim. I think we definitely need to come to the center of the table with, hey, here's my opinions, here's your opinions, here's some things based in fact, here's some things that are not. And instead of just blatantly telling ourselves or telling people who we don't agree with that you're a terrible person because I don't agree with you, hey, try to understand where they're coming from. Maybe you both can learn and you both change your opinions in a different direction because both of your opinions were based in non-facts. So, instead of just telling someone that they're inaccurate, just, come to it with curiosity and come to it with a perspective that even you may be wrong, right? Be open to accepting that you yourself may be wrong or they may be wrong, and either way, it's completely okay. So, Tim, are you okay if I wrap it all up?
I was just going to say that I'm no longer going to tolerate you. I'm going to allow you to have your NPR moment, because the one I had last week or 2 weeks, whenever we released this stuff, was amazing for me.
Well, thank you, Tim. So here we go. Tolerance is the act of allowing someone to have the belief or make a choice you don't agree with. It shouldn't be up to us to allow someone to make a choice or have an opinion. Don't just tolerate someone you don't agree with. Take it one step further. Accept them for who they are and accept their choices and their opinions. You don't have to accept that choice or that opinion as your own. Just try to understand where they're coming from and how they got to that conclusion. You don't have to agree on everything with people you respect, but you do have to respect their ideals, their choices, and their decisions. That's the power of free will, and that's what's going to create a more inclusive and united community. There you go, my NPR moment.
What just happened? Love it. Pew, pew, pew us out.
Well, thank you everyone for watching the Real Kindness Games. We'll see you at the next one. Pew, 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 pew.